Hello, my name is Ivan. This tutorial is about client certificate authentication with Apache Web Server. I will explain how to set up a root certificate authority with two Sub CAs, how to create a user CERTS, how to configure Apache to use the client certificates, how to revoke a user CERT, how to limit Apache access to certain certificate authorities, and how to forward SSL meta info to the backend system. This video is a starting point for a series of certification authorities and Apache tutorials. In the upcoming video I will cover this video in more detail because this will be very short and brief. I will go throughout the CRL, certification, revocation list and the OCSP protocol as well. Please make sure if you want to play along with this demonstration, you can get the latest Hacking Lab live CD from media.hacking-lab.com. Please make sure that you update and upgrade the live CD using apt-get update, apt-get upgrade and apt-get dist upgrade in a root terminal. And then you can play along with this demonstration. I recommend that you get the live CD and follow the steps in this video on your own on the live CD. The tutorial is based on the easyrsa3 package to run the certification authority. easyrsa3 is a wrapper script around the OpenSSL library and heavily used by the OpenVPN community. I think it really makes your life easier with your OpenSSL CA, and that's why I have chosen easyrsa3 for the sake of this tutorial. The setup of this tutorial is based on a root certificate that is self-signed and two Sub CAs or intermediate CAs, the EU and US, with several users, Otto David belonging to the EU CA and John to the US. You will find a script name on the left side of the PowerPoint slides, in this case step1.sh. It will make us the root CA and the CSR's certificate signing request for two sub CAs. Okay, so I will switch now to the Hacking Lab Live CD and run the step 1 script. So this is a root terminal. You switch directly to opt applic http ca. These are all the scripts ready for the tutorial. Well, I'll start with the clean. So to delete all the previous configurations of the CAs. So now we have a fresh and empty tutorial. As I said, we start with step1.sh. Bash step1.sh. It will create a root certificate authority. I will name it root CA. And here we have the EU CA. Call it EU CA. And last but not least, we have US CA. At the end of step 1, you have a root certificate authority certificate. With step 2, you will sign the Sub Certificate Authority EU CSR with the root CA and the same for the US. At the end of step 2, we have a list of 3 certificates of the root, the EU and the US CERT. So run the step2.ch. This will sign the EU certification authority here, yes. And in the second step, it will sign the US CA, yes. And as you can find at the end, we have concatenated file, also a file called allca.crt. It contains all the certificates, the root certificate, the EU certificate and the US certificate. In this file we list certificates from where we accept client certificates. So right now it is the EU and the US is included. And here we have the three CA certificates we just created. In the third step, we want to create CRLs for the root, for the EU, and for the US. As we don't have any users yet, these are empty CRLs, but still we need the file in Apache to have it ready. So let's create the CRLs, the certificate revocation list. And so we have the crl.pem, which is the concatenated content of the EU, the root, and the US certificate CRL. So we have the certificate revocation list ready. And in the next step, we want to create user certificates. We want to create a user certificate for the user Otto EU, for the user David EU, and the user John US. Where Otto EU and David EU certificate is signed by the EU CA, Certification Authority, and the John US user is a certification signed by the US Certification Authority. And this will be done with step 4 script. So bash step 4. So we'll create a key for Otto. I leave all the default values, Otto EU. I don't care about the email address right now because it's only a demonstration. Now this is the signing request to the EU CCA. Yes, I want to sign the Otto client certificate. And an export password, I name it Compass. Give it twice. Then we have the David EU client certificate. Leave all the values by default. And at the end I have to hit yes to sign it by the EU Certification Authority, and I will also enter an export password, so I name it Compass as well, Compass. And the last user certificate is for the user John. Leave all the default values as well, and enter, yes, and now this time it's signed by the US Certification Authority, and the export password is Compass again. The script step 4 will also create the pkcs12 file here, David, John, and Otto. Now the Apache Web Server configuration needs some directives for enabling client certificate based authentication, and at the beginning of the tutorial we want to grant access for the users from the certification authority from EU and from US. So I switch over to the terminal, going back to http conf extra, and there's a file called http ssl client-cert.conf, http ssl client-cert.conf, that is responsible for the client certification configuration of this live CD Apache Web Server. And so we have the CA certificate file that is contains all the certifications, also the root, the EU and the US. And this SSLCA distinguished name request file is contains the concatenated certificates from the CAs we accept client certificates. So in the initial state right now it's the EU CA and the US CA. Then I set the revocation check to chain, which is the most secure one because it will check the whole chain of certificates. You could set this to leaf as well, and leaf is less secure but will only check the last certificate, but chain is most secure. And the revocation file, that's the CRL.pem that we created in a step before. I have created a directory called secret where SSL client certificates are required. Okay, that's more or less the configuration, simple configuration of the Apache SSL configuration. Now we need to set up a Firefox profile AutoEU, DavidEU and JohnUS, and we need to test whether we can access the Apache client, the secret URL with these client certificates. So let's see. First we need to start Apache. So this will start the Apache with all the fresh configuration settings, all the fresh CAs and CRLs we just set up in the steps before. Then I open up the Firefox browser, I open JohnUS, start. But before we can access the secret link, we need to this was a cached, and we need to add the client certificate. So set preferences, advanced, view certificate, import JohnUS. It is hosted in the file system on the opt applic HTTPD CA, and here we have the JohnUS. And we have to fire up the export password, which is set to compass. And now we have included the JohnUS client certificate into my browser. Let's see if you can access now the secret URL. Refresh. So the browser will prompt for the client certificate. I'll choose the JohnUS. Okay. And now it's ready. Do the same for the other two users. So the AutoEU. Click on Edit, Preferences, Advanced, View Certificates, Import. This is AutoEU Compass. Ready? Okay. Click on the secret URL /secret. Will be prompted for the client certificate AutoEU. That's okay. Plop. Okay. And last but not least, we go to the DavidEU user. We need to go preferences to advanced, view certificate, import, and here we have the DavidEU compass, and restart. Okay, and test home/secret. Then the client certificate should be prompted. Okay, this is DavidEU. Okay, and boom. Okay, so now for the sake of the presentation, to a little bit have more details about what client certificate is really connecting, I set up a print header.php file, and I added the SSL environment variables from the Apache to this request, and the print header will just disclose the client certification attributes from the user that is connecting. So let's check how this works. So here, if I enter print header.php, that's the backend of the print header.php, and as you can see here, the SSL subject distinguished name canonical name is set to DavidEU. HTTPS is on. We have RSA encryption, the signature with the client certificate, and every single SSL environment variable that has been set is now sent to the Apache, to the PHP file, and listed here. Okay, let's check with another user. Let's say we take the JohnUS, and we go to secret, where the client certificate is required, and the print header. So the browser will prompt me for the client certificate, in this case the JohnUS. Fire up enter, and you see here the SSL client subject distinguished name canonical name is set to JohnUS. Here above you have the SSL session ID, the protocol, and the cipher suite that has been used to and so forth. So very interesting for debugging purposes. Okay, this is more for making the demonstration a little bit easier to understand. Okay, now I would like to revoke a user certificate. I have chosen to revoke the user certificate of the David EU. And so after I have revoked the user certificate, I will rerun the step 3 script because it will recreate the whole certification revocation list for Apache, and I need to restart Apache afterwards as well. So here, going back to the CA folder, sorry, then we have the O2, the user, the easyrsa script, and there's a command called revoke. So revoke, and we want to revoke the David EU. Am I sure to really revoke user David EU? Yes. Now the user is revoked. But as I said, we need to rerun step 3 script to create all the CRLs. And once we have updated the certification revocation list, I need to restart Apache. Okay, in the meantime, so we have David EU. So Auto EU should still work. So I open up the Firefox browser, go to Auto EU, start, click on secret, and print header will be prompted for Auto EU. OK, and Auto EU is connecting. Okay, close the browser. Now I try the revoked certificate, the David EU. Go to secret and print header. Oops, typo here. 1 second. Print header. Okay, that's my mistake. Excuse me. Again. Secret print header.php will be prompted for the David, which is a revoked certificate. Okay, and I cannot connect using the David, but I should still be able to connect with the Otto and the John US client certificate. So let's test. I have here a print header, a shortcut, John US. Okay, that's it. Okay, so we have successfully revoked the David EU client certificate. So Otto works, David is blocked, and John works. That's the result of our testing. Now I want to show you how to disable access to users from a certain certification authority. So the attribute is the SSL CADN request file, and then we need to restart Apache. So switch over to this directory, and as I said in the beginning, this file here is listing all the certification authorities where we accept client certificates from. So if I open this file with a Sublime text, then we have the EU certification authority with the certificate, and we have the US. Okay, and for the sake of the demonstration, we want to remove US users. So what I do now, I remove the US certification from this file. So, and The file only contains the EU certification and file save. Okay. I need to restart Apache to make the changes ready. Okay, and what I want to do now is I want to check whether the auto EU profile should still work because it's from the EU Sub CA. David is blocked because he's in the certification revocation list, and the John US is blocked because I removed the US certification authority from the allowed CAs for Apache. Let's see if that works as designed. Now Apache has been started. I try auto. Auto should work. Okay, auto. Auto on the print header. Auto client certificate. Okay. Boom. Works. Next is David EU. David EU is blocked because of the CRL. Print header. David EU blocked. Okay, no access. And now John US is also blocked because we removed the CA from the list of trusted client certification CAs. So let's see if we can use the John US and click on the print header function, and it's also blocked. This is the shortest version of this tutorial. Yes, I left out a lot of details, for example, the length of the certificate chain and how the client certificates are set up and how the CRL and the OCSP URL is added to the client certificate. I left out the aspect of the OCSP stapling command, the new feature in Apache. But just for the sake of this simple client certificate based authentication, I hope this tutorial is useful. And as I said in the beginning, you can grab the latest Hacking Lab Live CD and play along with the whole stuff I just showed you on your own. Thank you for listening and watching. Take care. Bye.